Introducing Salesforce Headless 360. It is the one platform that works wherever your humans and agents work. We are releasing our first wave of APIs, MCP tools, and CLI commands. This allows you to build with coding agents, scale with trust, and deploy Salesforce capabilities onto any surface, whether that's a custom app, a portal, or a third-party device. For this demo, we use Connected Executive Education, a learning management app on Salesforce. With Salesforce Headless 360, CEE keeps its data, logic, actions, and governance on Salesforce, while the experience shows up wherever work happens. Let's start with Slack. The Learning Manager needs to check on Sarah Chen's progress. And the CEE Service Agent brings back a rich view from the Learning Management app. The manager does not need to open a separate system, search through records, or wait for a report. The progress insight is available in the flow of work. That experience is only the first surface. Now we go behind the scenes and look at how CEE uses Agentforce Vibes and Headless 360 to create this experience. Agentforce Vibes gives CE one place to work across agents, React apps, and Lightning components. The same environment understands the Salesforce org and gives the team a guided way to build with platform context instead of disconnected prompts. CEE can choose the agent framework that best fits the job. The harness is not just about picking a model. It changes the agent capabilities available to the build process. The team can compare OpenAI and Anthropic harnesses while keeping the work connected to the Salesforce Foundation. This is where Headless 360 becomes practical for builders. Salesforce capabilities are available as MCP tools the agent can use directly. The agent can inspect the org, understand the data model, and use the right platform capability without guessing. Skills give the coding agent the guidance it needs to build in the Salesforce way. Here we can see the Developing Agentforce skill. This skill explains what it is for, when to use it, and the guidance that always applies as the agent works through the Agentforce development lifecycle. Now that we have taken a quick tour, let's start by asking for the metadata model of the org. Agentforce Vibes uses parallel agents and the configured MCP tools to retrieve the relevant org context. The scan brings back custom objects, Lightning components, and the broader metadata needed to understand how the learning app is structured. The metadata is not just a dump of files. We can open the visualizer and see how the learning management model comes together. Learners, enrollments, progress, programs, and supporting components become easier to reason about before the agent is created. With the environment grounded, they can now create the CEE service agent. The agent needs to support learner progress and program analytics, use the existing Salesforce logic where it exists, and follow clear guardrails for escalation and off-topic requests. They can do this using a simple prompt. Agentforce Vibes loads the Agentforce development skill and uses that guidance as it creates the agent. The important point is that the build is not happening from a generic coding prompt. It is happening with Salesforce-specific guidance, org metadata, and platform tools available to the agent. The result is an agent definition that the team can inspect. Topic routing, actions, variables, guardrails, and escalation behavior are all represented in a way the team can review and manage as part of the application lifecycle. Before the agent is put in front of users, we can start a test session directly in Agentforce Vibes. The team uses learner progress prompts and reviews the results in context. This gives them a safe place to check behavior before the agent is connected back to the user-facing surface. The trace makes the behavior inspectable. We can see how the request routes, which action runs, and how the response is assembled. If the agent chooses the wrong path, misses a guardrail, or calls the wrong action, the team can catch it here before release. Once the behavior is tested, we can then deploy the agent back to the org. The build remains connected to Salesforce metadata, Salesforce actions, and the governance model around the application lifecycle. At this point, the agent behavior works, but CEE also needs the response to show up as a rich interface, not just plain text. That is where the Agentforce experience layer comes in. It lets CEE define the UI component once and render it across the surfaces where people and agents work. We can create the Learner Progress widget as an experience component. The same underlying definition can support a rich card, instead of forcing every channel to build its own custom UI from scratch. The same widget can adapt across different environments. We can preview a default pattern, a Slackbot version, and a ChatGPT-style version. Each surface gets an experience that feels native, while the definition and platform foundation stay consistent. Now the opening Slack moment makes sense. The rich response in Slack is not a one-off Slack implementation. It is the same Salesforce-backed agent and experience definition showing up in the channel where the program manager works. Slack is only one surface. We can also bring the same agentic experience into a React app for program operations. Program leaders can review cohort health, at-risk learners, completion trends, and use the same agent in context. CEE uses Agentforce Vibes again to create the React app experience. The prompt gives the app structure, the program operations context, and the agent entry point. Agentforce Vibes creates the app so the team can move quickly from idea to working interface. The live preview gives CEE a fast feedback loop. The team can see the portal experience, review the layout, and confirm that the agent is available where program leaders need it. The production app shows the same pattern in a real surface: operational dashboards, the agent, and the rich learner response working together. The surface changes, but the Salesforce-backed logic and experience remain consistent. The same experience also reaches mobile. A program manager can review the learner card from a mobile experience without rebuilding the interaction from scratch or dropping into a brittle web view. This is Headless 360 in action. Connected executive education keeps the trusted core on Salesforce, the data, metadata, business rules, actions, and governance that make the experience reliable. But the experience itself is no longer locked to one UI. Agents and apps can use those capabilities headlessly through tools and APIs and show up wherever work happens, in Slack, React, mobile, or the next surface your teams build.